Hello again. I've just been reading a news article about a mother of eight who has, over I believe the last 10 years, claimed £100,000 fraudulently in benefits. This is not for herself, but to send to Pakistan for her auntie and uncle who live there. Um, she should have gone to prison, but she has avoided that. Um, and she claimed that she didn't know that she wasn't allowed to send this money. So the court, in their wisdom, have decided to give her a 16-month suspended sentence and to send her on a course at the cost of £1,600. And this course is to teach her that fraud is not a victimless crime. Now, I would like to obviously say that, well, what would happen if, say, a person of my skin complexion and my heritage committed a crime like that? Well, obviously, I'd have the book thrown at me, and so would anybody else who looks like me. We all know that. But the system in this country doesn't care about these facts, as we have what is called critical theory in our legal systems and our institutions, and that creates this is what bases a lot of our things like hate crime legislation and racism laws, where there is a hierarchy of oppression from that. And this is why we do see what has been recently called two-tiered policing, because there is the view that people of certain skin complexions or from certain backgrounds are in and of themselves victims of wider society, and so it is not really their fault for their behaviour. No, I do not buy into this at all. It's a case of fitting or F off, is my opinion. Um, if you want to come live in Britain and work and pay your taxes and follow the rules, that's fine. But if you fall foul of the law, the full force of the law should be sent your way, and that includes even if you're ignorant of crimes, which I do not believe personally that she was ignorant. I do believe that this judge is overly sympathetic, possibly. Maybe has I can't comment. I don't know the judge. I've no idea who this judge is, so I'm not going to speculate. It just seems to be an endemic problem in the systems of this country. We saw it with grooming gangs and those crimes being covered up, sometimes with girls actually being sexually assaulted in front of the police, and the police just joking it off and just chatting to the perpetrators. We've seen it recently, obviously, with the behaviour of certain protesting groups across the country, where the police have allowed them to get away with things that we wouldn't be allowed to. And by we, I mean people of my complexion. And even going as far as arresting Tommy Robinson for whatever your views are on of him, and pepper spraying him in his eyes and using 20 police officers to remove him from an area. That I believe is an excellent example of two-tiered policing. We saw it during lockdown, where BLM were allowed to literally riot in the streets, and nothing was done to prevent them, while anti-lockdown protesters, who were overwhelmingly white people, and the Sarah Everard vigil, where the police came down on those like a ton of bricks. So this, I do believe that this is a clear case of, it's not hypocrisy, but it's actually hierarchy, social hierarchy. We have a bunch of elites in our system who, for whatever reason, have decided that we need what is effectively a caste system in our country, in my opinion. And which is why we see these sorts of cases where we have an individual from the Islamic community being able to engage in massive fraud of £100,000. I believe knowingly. Obviously, that the courts may disagree with me on that, and most likely do. And they are allowed to walk away with a suspended sentence and attending a mandatory course. It's just laughable, really. In my opinion, that individual, her 8 children, and her husband should all be deported after she's served a prison sentence, stripped of all their assets in this country to repay the debt, and permanently barred from re-entering Britain again, or any territories associated with Britain. It's as simple as that. And I don't care if the children were born in this country either. They should be stripped of the British nationality. I do believe it's got to that stage personally, where we do need to be taking drastic action like that against these sorts of cases, because they are obviously laughing in our faces and taking us for a ride because they know the system will teach them with kid gloves. Thank you very much and have a nice evening.